There is this bombshell news coming in the media recently. It says that Beverly Hills residents spot Meghan Markle stayed with three old men in a hotel in 1 week, in just matter of 1 week. And this is going to be, according to this report, this is going to be working for Harry if he goes to the court for the divorce and child custody. Let's take a look at this report, because this report suggests something very, very ominous was going to happen. Meghan Markle, she became more and more interested in men since her last podcast episodes or series she did. In the beginning of this podcast, we have seen her getting all the female guests in her podcast, but when she was about to end the podcast for 12 weeks, I think she ran that. Before she stopped the podcast, she said, I consulted with my husband Harry, but at the same time we are seeing that she was getting even more interested in bringing men to her podcast as a guest. Why she was interested in men? Of course, you can say there are many other reasons, but one of the main reasons was because she was probably looking for other options than Harry. Why Meghan Markle's Feminism podcast only has male guest in final episode. This is what was coming in the news, and that news was from, again, last year before she ended her podcast. Meghan Markle's Archetypes podcast has ended its 12-week run with two male guests, Real Housewives producer Andy Cohen and comedian Trevor Noah. Of course, you see nothing wrong. I mean, these are very, very famous people and they will never fall for Meghan Markle. But the question is still there. Why men? Why all of a sudden she was changing her strategy? Especially if she was saying, well, my podcast became a big hit. I mean, Netflix was showing Meghan's podcast remain number one for a day or two. If they were bragging about this success of this podcast, then why you change the strategy? All the Duchess of Sussex's previous guests have been a woman. But to close the season, she said Prince Harry had encouraged her, quote, to broaden the conversation. Yeah, we know Prince Harry said that, so she listened. No, she is the one giving command to Harry, not the other way around. Archetypes was described in a teaser trailer as a show that, quote, dives into the labels that try to hold women back. Let's talk about this. Harry told me to bring more guests so that I can broaden the conversation. Well, that is not true. We know Harry is being controlled by Meghan. She is controlling the narrative. She's controlling the relationship, the marriage, the kids, the fake kids, everything. We see it is coming directly from Meghan's instruction. Harry is somebody who can never do anything on his own, and this has been proven over and over again. He said himself, Meghan rescued me. She was the Messiah for me, right? So no, if Meghan is saying, oh, Harry said this to bring men on my show, on this podcast episodes, I don't trust that word for a second. At the same time, take a look at what Harry was doing. Okay, I do not know how to do this podcast. You go ahead, you do this. And at the same time, Harry was becoming a little bit, stepping back from her podcast. We have not seen Harry's participation the way we expected. In fact, there was a report that said that podcast, this Spotify, they wanted Harry to be part of Meghan's podcast. They will do, one of them will do one podcast, the other one will become the producer. That never happened. In other words, the problem started right around at the very end of Meghan's podcast when she saw this podcast became a big flop. And she wanted to find somebody else because Harry was obviously not working. His name, his fame, his reputation, the British monarchy did not pan out well for Meghan Markle's podcast. Right around when Harry was promoting his memoir, this report came out. Sussex rumor, is Meghan Markle looking for husband number 3 in Gordon Getty? Well, we know if he becomes the husband, he will not be number 3, he will be number 4. And I explained that in my other videos, you can check them out. Is Meghan Markle looking for her next husband? This is the rumor that has been milling about for the last few days. So who is her alleged target? Well, a lot of people said it is Gordon Getty himself, the billionaire. This guy, he fell for her, but we also know at the same time his family rushed to rescue him from this narcissist. So you have now this man coming in your show, And then now we have also these rumors that you are seeing Gordon Getty. Actually, this is not a rumor, this is a fact. Meghan was indeed seeing Gordon Getty in a hotel in Beverly Hills. I do not know that this report that suggested she was seeing three old men would include Gordon Getty, but possible. And then you have more rumor coming out saying that Meghan was becoming more interested in politics, and so she was seeing politicians. So if you add them all up, you see one thing very consistent, which is that Meghan was moving away from her man Harry to other men. And this is where we are right now. She is also being seen Marcus Anderson when they were taking the hike in the mountain, especially on the day of Archie's birthday. You should be with your husband, but we have not seen Meghan doing that. She was with other male friends. Who else? We do not know. What is happening right now is that if you take a look at all the things that are happening and the news that are coming about Meghan and Harry's relationship, it is obvious that she has lost all her interest in Harry. Quote, Meghan said, "Now if you have been listening to the past 11 episodes, you may have noticed that you have not heard many men's voices. Or really, who cares? In fact, until now, outside of a quick pop-in from my husband in the first episode, this show has featured exclusively women's voices, and that's by design." And again, this is an old report. She was still referring Harry as her husband, but that doesn't happen anymore now. These are the guests she brought in for her show. Quote, "It was important to us that women have a space to share their authentic and complicated, complex and dynamic experiences, to be heard and to be understood." Yeah, we know the actual reason why you brought those men, because you were losing interest in your husband. Slowly but surely.
Beverly Hills residents spot that Meg stayed with three old men in a hotel in 1 week. It's in Harry's favour at court. It's now Harry and Meghan who are on different paths. According to sources, the couple are not going through the best moment of the relationship, and even both Meghan and Harry would have raised the divorce papers and separate their destinies to continue walking individually. We all know that the Sussexes' marriage is going to end in divorce, but if Prince Harry left now, he'd lose everything. A source close to their lawyer said that their divorce proceedings will be over within 18 months, and Harry's mental health history is going against him in court.
Yep.
He's confessed his drug use. It was also an excuse for Meghan to defend herself. However, recently some residents caught Meghan accompanying three elderly men to the Beverly Hills hotel in the same week.
Wow.
It could be spun in Harry's favour if Meghan's caught doing something egregious. The divorce lawyer said that some examples that Meghan lose the case: having an affair with someone very affluent, if she's diagnosed with a personality disorder during some kind of litigation, if she's arrested for some kind of crime. After they separate, such as fraud, some kind of damning correspondence of her planning to exploit the royal family.
Absolutely.
In short, if there's some kind of narrative that Meghan planned to take advantage of Harry all along, it could help Harry regain public support. As it is, he and Meghan are pretty much equally responsible for the things that have taken place since their marriage. Lady C started the rumour about their separation before Christmas when she said on one of her videos that she'd been told they were divorcing, but she was careful to hedge her bets. There was also another article stating Meghan is distancing herself from Harry, which explains all of the awards she's buying for herself. She's the important one. The truth is, unfortunately for Harry, he's outlived his usefulness to her. Harry doesn't fit in with her plans anymore. She always wanted to be a star, and stars don't share the spotlight. Without the title, Harry's just a simple guy, no special talent, and not much to look at either. Meghan has probably always felt superior intellectually. I'd feel sorry for him, but he was complicit in all of her crap. He should have firmly taught her the rules, but instead practiced what Meghan wants. He deserves all that's coming to him. She'll leave him to fend for himself. So once the divorce finally happens and Harry wants to come back to the UK, do you think the British will welcome him back? I don't think the British public are going to welcome him back personally. With the lies and the attacks on the royal family, it would be highly unlikely he could be rehabilitated. The Waleses have the support of the public, and I don't see Harry being able to coast on his being Diana's son much longer.
Okay, just I want to make a few comment here. Yes, he will be welcomed back by the UK people in most part. Yes, a lot of people are very, very upset, but what I can promise you, is that he will not be able to reconcile with his brother, Prince William, unless two things happen. Number one, she leaves Meghan, and number two, Harry, makes a public apology to the monarchy for everything he said with Meghan Markle. If that two conditions are met, then I see some hope that he will be able to get back into the fold of his family members.
Plus, those kids are going to be a challenge. Anyway, the Harkles won't reveal many details about their divorce because they have a secret deal with each other. Or maybe Meghan and Harry are putting out divorce rumours so that people forget about the catastrophic car chase. But one thing is for sure, it's not a happy marriage being married to a narcissist. Put on all the love story stuff you want for the rest of the world, you can't fake
Absolutely.
being happy to yourself.
Yep.
Neither one got what they thought they were getting out of the marriage. So it's a matter of how they deal with it. Maybe divorce, maybe affairs. Drink more.